I would like to introduce Santiago Rodríguez. He works in Papalote Children's Museum as an experienced concept manager. He's been doing this for years with children and using play as their main tool. He is also an actor, and he has a very interesting project on YouTube where he shares videos about the LGBTQ community. So let's hear it for him and go on. Thank you, Julia. Well, those of you who haven't been seated, please come on. And I have my colleague, Jerusha Garcia, who's going to help me from the booth with this presentation. And this presentation is called Finally, a Museum That Listens to Me, because I'm going to be a museum, Papalote, and you're going to be the visitors. I'm going to hear you through your balloons. The balloons are your voice. You're going to be voting to correct or change the direction of the presentation. I'm going to know with your presentation or with your voting what kind of information you want to know about. And Papalote Children's Museum is a family of museums, 3 of them, one in Mexico City, one in Cuernavaca, and another one in the city of Monterrey. They are all in the country of Mexico. And what do? We create the best educational experiences for children and their families so they can get together with other children, so they can develop their curiosity, they can learn, and they can become better citizens. This is the mission of Papalote Children's Museum, everything through play. And we have several strategies to do so. Among them, we have an assessment team. These are some of the members. I'm going to introduce another colleague later, and they are in charge of performing several visitor assessment processes in our places. They do this monthly, they do this yearly, and they do ad hoc studies and surveys about specific experiences and projects. It sounds like a little, but it's a lot of assessments, interviews, etc. And thanks to them, we know that in Papalote, Chapultepec, Mexico City, from 2012 to 2018, the grade that we have from 1 to 10 is 9.1 in average, which I believe is very good for the museum standard, but we're always looking for that 0.9. We are always in continuous improvement. We want to have the best experiences for our visitors, and for that, to know how we're finding that 0.9, I'm going to let you know about the First Childhood program and how it was developed. What is First Childhood, you may wonder? First Childhood is children from 0 to 5. This group of children, of beings, we have all been there. We have all been them, and it's the most important stage in life, according to specialists. This is what's going to determine what you're going to be as a teenager, as an adult. That's when you define this. And we know that in Chapultepec, 2012 to 2018, our visitors, 63% of them were 13 years and older, a lot of adults, and our target audience, which is First Childhood, was subdivided in 50 and 50. And we know that in 2017, 116 exhibitions had 23 of them that were targeting First Childhood, so 20% of the total. The rest of them, 80%, was for older children, so you can start cross-referencing your information. 51% of families with children this age tell us that they have an overall good experience in the museum, but this is 14% less than the rest of families. So this is the time to hear you. About what assessment would you like to learn more? About the annual assessment, monthly assessment, or ad hoc studies and interviews? Raise your balloons. So you want to learn about ad hoc studies and interviews. The 3 groups have chosen this. So ad hoc studies and interviews, experience design assessments. We do interviews about the satisfaction regarding our services and events, and regarding our adult nights, for instance. And we do ad hoc studies about internal and external requests. With them, we get socio-demographic information about our visitors, and we mainly get qualitative information, also quantitative, about our experiences. Thanks to this and all the rest of our assessments, we know that the dissatisfaction of our visitors in our target audience, first childhood, has comments like, "I feel that you're missing more activities for children this age. Most of your activities are not good for our girl." Or little girl, and thanks to this information, we started to think what we were going to do. What would you have done with all this information that you just heard about? Would you have first increased 50% your activities for first childhood? Would you have left everything as it is because we have a good overall perception of our visitors? Or would you have improved your offer for first childhood? Well, a landslide victory for increasing the offer. That's what Papalote decided to do with all the information throughout the years with our program for first childhood, with these three main lines of action: to renovate and increase exhibitions, experiences, games for first childhood, to improve services for this age and their accompanying adults, and to provide information and to raise awareness and train parents and caregivers for these children. And for that, we created a team of specialists. We have one of them here, internal and external to the museum. We invited education specialists and specialists in this, or psychologists and specialists in this age of children. And we created a document that was going to lead our processes from now on. Would you like to learn more about the document, the new exhibitions that we're creating for this audience, or raising awareness for parents? I see more red, so you want to learn about new exhibitions. Tallercito, or little workshop, is one of our new exhibitions. It already exists in the museum, but it didn't have the best activities for this age. So we did an assessment. Could we go back one, please? We did an assessment about the new exhibitions and activities that we were planning. And about these assessments, we decided about some of them, and we are now preparing our next exhibitions of Tallercito, little workshop to develop activities in STEM disciplines and mecha movement. And we're doing new exhibitions like the Forest of Marvels. You're going to learn about nature and its elements, and they can develop new activities together with their parents. There is information for them and for their parents, so they can learn how to simulate and prepare abilities with their children. So now assessments lead us into making informed decisions. That's why they are helpful. And some of the actions, like signage in our exhibitions for this group, are now being seen in the comments of the group, but that's part of the point 9 that we're looking for. It isn't easy to perform assessments. It costs money, it takes time, and it requires personnel or time from the personnel that you already have at the museum. It's not easy to do so, but it's worth doing so because it helps you save time and money, since now you can make informed decisions about what you have to do instead of just guessing what your audience would like or just wanting what you're doing to have an impact. And mainly because it allows us to achieve our mission, in our case, to offer educational experiences to learn through play, the best for our audience. You can also perform them at your museum. It's hard, but it can be done. Maybe you do it already, but if you don't do it, it's worth doing so. And for that, you have to ask yourself what you want to learn about your visitors. That's the first question you have to ask yourself. The next one is, what tools would you like to use to know this information? There are many tools available, and once you have that information, please use it, because many times we get information from our assessments and interviews and surveys, and we don't use them. That's the most important part. And this slide is for you to take a picture of it. This is bibliography and basic literature about assessments. Some of the authors are here in this meeting, so you can approach them to learn about their literature or other literature and assessments for museums. Otherwise, we can give you this information later directly. Just approach us. And this is my contact information, so you can approach me or write me, and I can answer your questions. And also Paulina Rojas, the assessment manager of our museum. Whatever's left, Paulina and myself are here. We have this pen, so this button, so you can find us. And Julia, you can ask her about Canoe and their programs. Thank you for your time, and we hope this is useful to you. Thank you.